Alright guys, I thought I'd take a minute and show you something I've come up with as far as the ultimate ground station. I got tired of carrying my stuff around in a Ziploc bag and then discovering I didn't have the right cable once I got out to the flying site. Anyway, I took a normal Pelican. It's a 1510. This is the one that you see people dragging through the airports. It's got wheels on it. It's got a handle that comes out of here so you can drag it behind you. It's pretty cool. On the outside of it, there's a couple of things I need to point out. First of all, you notice these two ports. These are for my two pepper boxes, and this is actually the bottom of the case. So I have these little SMA connectors that I've drilled through the case and installed one for my 2.4, and the other over here is for my 1.2. I've got a 5.8, but it's on the top. When you turn it like so, you'll notice over here, I actually have two battery plugs, so if I can plug one in. When it starts running low, I can plug the other one in without having to completely shut down the ground station. It's kind of a redundant feature. And then when you rotate it around like so, this of course is the front. When you open the door, as we will in just a minute, these will be on top. But you see I have a 1.2 gigahertz. This is for the cloverleaf. This also is 2.4 gigahertz for the cloverleaf. And then over on the right, you notice I have two 5.8. One is for the pepper box, and the other is for another cloverleaf. I put them both on top because the 5.8 pepper box is really kind of small. When you open it up, I have everything pretty much, let me back up a little bit, pretty much pre-connected. So let me go ahead and pull all this stuff out of here. Everything I need is already pre-connected except screwing on the antennas. So let me pull all this stuff out and get it hooked up. But before I do that, goggles, of course, are located right here. And then if I want to connect my goggles to any of the three frequencies that I deal with, I have this plug over on the side that I keep pre-connected into one of the outlets. So let me go ahead and put all this together, make it a little neater to look at, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Alright, setting this up in the field is actually pretty easy. I simply connect a battery over here on the right side, and then I choose which frequency I want to operate off of. You'll notice I have all three frequencies. I use these on the mini quads. On the longer range quads, I use 2.4 gigahertz, and on aircraft, I use 1.3 gigahertz. So I kind of needed to carry all three of them around. It's arranged, obviously, 1.3 gigahertz on these two receivers. These are both from Ready Made RC, and they're both connected through an Eagle Eyes right here. And then I think on the very bottom, if I can move this forward just a little bit, you can see it has an independent recorder. So anytime these are on, it's recording, even if I'm looking at static. So I make sure I capture everything. I don't have to remember stuff, and at my advancing age, that is kind of important. Here I have 2.4 gigahertz, again, feeding through completely separate system, feeding through this Eagle Eyes, and again, I've got another recorder for that one, and then an identical setup over here. I have the 5.8 gigahertz, two receivers, feeding through this Eagle Eyes, and then everything is being recorded right there. Independent switches, let me move this up just a bit. So if I want to operate on 5.8, I simply flip 5.8, give it a couple of seconds to lock up, and there you go. I have it appearing on the screen. I have my mini quad out on the back deck right now. And that's literally how easy it is. As far as antennas, again, I'll move up a little bit here. Along the top of the case, those SMA connectors that came through. So when I'm running 1.3, I just need that one. And for the diversity, I'll be running another. This is the pepper box, and he is connected to those containers, or those connectors that were on the bottom of the case. So there's my diversity antennas for 1.3 gigahertz, 2.4 right here. They're my omnidirectional, so if it gets up close, and then I got him laying on the other side of here. This is a 2.4 pepper box right there for directional. And then lastly, 5.8, we got a little 5.8 guy right here, and then the pepper box for the 5.8 is really small, so he just kind of hangs out there like that. And that's the setup. It's all very easy. The monitor is a 12-inch monitor I got from Lumineer. That's like 150 bucks. And then behind the foam, of course, is all the wiring coming down. Beneath this piece of, it's actually a piece of a chalkboard that I cut to fit into the case. I've got it cut kind of at an angle. All the electrical wiring is kind of concealed behind that. There are two screws holding that in place, so I remove two screws and everything just comes right off to let me do any rewiring. Everything kind of snakes out the bottom. I drilled holes, so all the wires to power the Eagle Eyes and to power the SD card recorders all feeds directly out of those holes. Really easy, very quick to set up. I think it only took me 1 day, and it saves me an unimaginable amount of pain. When I pack it, I pack my goggles right here where you noticed, and then on the side here, again to make sure I don't forget anything, got a little case hooked up with Velcro, and again to make sure I don't forget the right receivers for my goggles. They're always going to be very conveniently Velcroed right to the side. In case I forget a SD card, I got an extra one of those laying in the bottom of the case. Anyway, it all packs very neatly inside of this Pelican case. Not going to get damaged carrying it around or, you know, schlepping it back and forth to get into and out of the car to the flying field. All in all, pretty cool system. I really like it. I've only used it about 3 or 4 times, and I can't think of any improvements that I'd make to it. Anyway, fellas, there you go. The ultimate ground station. Thanks for your time.